In April 2004, teenager Hayley Williams, along with her friends and family, were visiting Oakwood theme park in Pembrokeshire when disaster struck. When riding the park's star attraction, known as Hydro, Hayley was thrown from the top of the ride and plummeted into the waters below. After the incident, the investigation found significant systemic failures in training and supervision of staff that could have prevented Hayley's tragic death. But what exactly happened that day? Let's talk about it. This is the infamous Hydro disaster, the death of Hayley Williams. Hayley Williams was born in Pontypool, Wales in 1988 to parents Beverly and Alan Williams. She was a talented child and found passion for music at an early age. She was described as having the voice of an angel, but could also play the clarinet and piano, and was a member of the Bridget Thomas School of Music. Her mother stated that she never wanted to be a pop star. She always wanted to be in the West End, and her music teachers had high hopes for her. Along with her musical talent, Hayley always had a smile on her face and was described as beautiful on the inside and out by her friends and family. Later on in life, she became a Sunday school teacher and would spend her free time around the Christmas period singing in retirement homes for lonely pensioners, which really goes to show you what kind of person she was. On the 15th of April 2004, Hayley, along with 7 other friends and family members, made the trip to Oakwood theme park in Pembrokeshire, Wales, during her Easter break from school. Hayley's mother was supposed to go with them that day, but that morning she had come down with an illness and decided to stay at home. Hayley's last words to her mother before leaving the house were, "Go to bed, Mum. Lie in my bed, it's more comfortable, and don't cook tea. I will cook it when I get home." She then skipped out the door and made her way to Oakwood theme park. This was the last time her mother would ever see her alive. Oakwood theme park was opened by the McNamara family on the 14th of April 1987 and was known as Wales' biggest family adventure, with over 35 rides and attractions spread over 90 acres of Welsh countryside. From paddleboarding and mini-golf to adrenaline-fueled roller coasters, the Oakwood theme park truly had something for everyone, and the group of friends were excited to return to the park after going there once before without any issue. The day had been a blast and the group were in good spirits before going on their last ride of the day, Hydro. Hydro, which opened 2 years before, was 121 feet tall at its tallest point and was marketed as Europe's fastest and wettest roller coaster. At the time, it was one of the park's most popular rides. The ride was supposed to be a major success for Oakwood, with the managing director of the park welcoming Hydro when it was built, saying it would help them keep up with major rival parks such as Alton Towers. The ride had a singular car shaped as a boat which seated 24 riders. The restraints on the ride included a seatbelt and a lap restraint. Because Hydro made the riders soaked wet through, the group decided they would go on it last and boarded the ride at around 3 p.m. According to Hayley's sister, Hannah, before taking off, the lap bar on the boat had initially fallen into position, but due to a mistake had been released. This prompted for the ride operators to put the bar back on. She claimed that when the bars fell into place the second time, the ride set off without any ride operators checking to see if they were secure. The ride was now underway and the boat started its climb up to the highest point. Her sister went on to say, "We were laughing and chanting. When we got to the top, everyone braced themselves for going down. Suddenly, everyone began screaming." One of Hayley's friends, Elizabeth, saw Hayley fall originally, but didn't believe her eyes. She said, "I thought it was a poncho at first. Then I realised one seat was empty and I just started screaming. Unfortunately, it wasn't a poncho as Elizabeth would have hoped, it was her friend." Hayley had slipped out of the carriage and had plunged into the waters 100 feet below. As she fell into the water below, park visitor Richard Sexton saw the incident unfold and heroically jumped into the water to pull Hayley out. Former fireman Peter Hawkins helped Richard pull Hayley out and started resuscitation. Hawkins' wife was an intensive care nurse, and she carried out CPR whilst another onlooker called emergency services for help. As Hayley fell, she came into contact with 10-year-old Martin Rothwell, who had suffered head injuries. 3 ambulances and an air ambulance rushed to the scene, and both children were taken to the Withybush Hospital in Haverfordwest. 10-year-old Martin survived, but sadly, Hayley died from internal injuries at the hospital. The ride was shut down to the public, and an investigation was launched. Hayley's parents recalled when they were first told later that day. Her mother stated, "It was 3:30. They came banging on my door and told me that there had been an accident and I needed to go to Haverfordwest as quickly as possible. I didn't know what had happened. This is going to sound strange, but there's a little town before you get to the hospital called Bethlehem. We went through this little town, and it was if I knew before I got there she wasn't going to be alive." She went on to say, "Then the doctor came in and asked me to sit down, and I said to him, if you're going to tell me what I think you're going to tell me, please don't. And I can't remember much after that." Mr. Williams described it as the longest day of their lives. Unfortunately, over the next few months, due to the investigation and being in and out of court, they had to relive this day over and over again. The investigation found that Hayley was not properly restrained, and CCTV footage showed that the ride operators never checked either. A mechanical engineer testified that the ride's safety was unsatisfactory since tests showed that he could exit Hayley's seat without assistance even after lowering the bar. On that day, the operator in charge of Hydro for the first time was 24-year-old Gareth Etchers, who had only received 20 minutes of supervised training before being left to his own devices. He said, "I could clearly see whether the bars were down or not, but there is no way I could physically reach down and check the other side. He and his assistant only made visual checks." Despite this, the coroner concluded that the evidence given over the 4-day inquest did not support a view that the death had been a result of gross negligence, much to the dismay of Hayley's angered parents. Her mother said, "What the hell is wrong with them? I don't believe it. It is not an accidental death, and it is not a narrative verdict. It is an unlawful killing." A year after the trial in 2007, a case against Oakwood theme park was committed, which saw the park plead guilty in breaching the Health and Safety Act. The park was fined £250,000 plus £80,000 for legal costs. Hayley's family rightly believed that this was an insufficient penalty for losing their loved one. Hayley was laid to rest at Panteg Cemetery, which saw generations young and old attend. Hundreds of family, friends, and her classmates came to show their respects. On her coffin was a wreath of flowers that read, "I will always love you," which was a song Hayley used to sing for her mother. As the service came to a close, the sound of Hayley singing was played through the speakers. Hayley's head of year, Kath McCormick, said, "I have heard and read tributes that said Hayley had the voice of an angel. I cannot imagine a more beautiful angel." As for the ride, Hydro closed down for a year but reopened in 2005 with additional safety restraints, including an over-the-shoulder bar, and was renamed in 2011 to Drenched. The ride was open until the 2025 season when it closed down for good. Just a few months after, Oakwood theme park closed their doors indefinitely, with many people glad to see the back of it, one of these being Hayley's mother, Beverly. Living in Wales, she claimed there would always be adverts on TV showing the ride and said every time she saw it, it was like a knife ripping her heart out. Also, this was after Oakwood theme park promised to the family they would not showcase the ride on TV. She said, "I was told they would never show it again, and then, come the start of this season, the first thing they did was show it again. Why would they want to hurt a family like that?" So for her, I'm grateful they have closed down. Coming to terms with the loss of a child is a sorrow no parent should ever have to endure. For Beverly and Alan, the years since Hayley's death have been filled with unimaginable grief. The weight of her absence is felt daily, in birthdays uncelebrated, meals uneaten and songs unsung. Since Hayley's death, Beverly has shut herself off from the outside world, retreating to her bedroom where she spends most of her days watching life go by through the window. The pain has been so deep that even going outside brings panic attacks. Yet, amid the heartbreak, Beverly wants the world to remember Hayley not for the tragedy that took her, but for the vibrant, kind and talented girl that she was and the profound impact she had on others. May she rest in peace. As always, this is not an AI channel, I do everything myself, and if you appreciate my work, subscribe, and if you want to go the extra step to support the channel, maybe consider becoming a member. This case is just as sad now as it was when I covered it over 3 years ago. This was a redo of an old video with more information and updates, as the old one had been taken down. Let me know what you think about this case in the comments below, and as always, thank you for watching.